Hello, everyone. Today in the temple, I wanted to welcome you all into an authentic conversation with one of the light workers that I've had the honor and blessing to connect with this year, and it's Aiswarya. Aiswarya invited me to her summit coming up this month, and we would also want to share an authentic conversation about what it's like to rise from our spiritual awakening to the point of creating a business that is aligned to our soul purpose. We'll talk about our own experiences, what have helped us, and what helped us overcome fears in showing up in public as our authentic self. So, welcome, Aiswarya. Please introduce yourself.
Of course. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for, inviting me onto your channel. It's just such a pleasure to be here. Just to introduce myself, just very plainly, like my name is Aiswarya. I live in London. I'm just a regular person like all of you, but I've had a journey of, yeah, like what we're going to be speaking about today, of going through multiple spiritual awakenings and creating multiple businesses until I reached the business that I am here doing today. And I would explain myself as a music artist. I would explain myself as a community builder, connecting people together, and also a soul legacy activator, really helping people to get to the purpose of what they're doing and to put that out into the world in a very authentic way.
I love we have a special guest.
No, I wasn't sure because when
I
I
love
do
that.
my events, she's on my lap since it's your, you know.
She's like, I need
She's
to be in the spotlight too.
exactly. This is Lyra. She's very persistent, so.
I love it. Every time I do sessions, people have cats or dogs. They always want to come say hi.
Yes, they do because they feel the energy, right? And they feel that collective vibration and they want to be part of it. So,
Yes, and they're welcomed. Awesome, Aiswarya. So a lot of us that might be watching this video right now have gone through a spiritual awakening, and many people might be new to a spiritual awakening. So can you share a little bit about like how you woke up? I know it's like a cycle, but what is like some of the most memorable moments for you?
yeah, so I really felt that from a very young age, I was already kind of spiritually awake and spiritually aware. Obviously, there's different levels to it, but along the journey, my mother is very scientific. So that kind of stream of consciousness kept me very grounded in this reality and allowed me to see what kind of still works, but also what doesn't work. And the other form with my father's lineage is very highly spiritual. So he, took us to ashrams and in India as well when I was a teenager, which is what you do. We went every year and I would study with, I studied Kundalini yoga, Kundalini meditation, things like that. And that wasn't so much of a spiritual awakening, but it gave me the foundation because it was done, at this like point of puberty, like when you're just transitioning to your identity, it became such a solid part of my identity. And then going through having that as a foundation, I've also used meditation, I've used music to reach those higher level states. I've also done things like, ceremonial psychedelics as well, which helps, I think, which helped me remember more of who I am. But generally, the most important part of my spiritual awakening is always to be able to go deeper into myself, peel those layers back, and just keep going deeper and deeper into my authenticity. Always asking myself, what is this teaching me? What is this world teaching me? What is this situation teaching me? What is this lesson teaching me? So I would say that you can have a spiritual awakening every day. You can have it every
Like
week. Yeah, it doesn't always have to be this massive thing, but I understand that there's parts of life which are real initiations to ask you to go deeper within yourself. And those are like kind of big ones. And then every day can be another awakening.
I totally agree. It's like Do you ever look back like last year and you're like, who was that person? Like every year you're like updating into a new version of yourself, right?
Exactly. And I think we are just so many people. Like we have so many identities, living in the multiverse. There's so many aspects of us. And if we go that step deeper, you are an aspect of me, I'm an aspect of you. We're all aspects of each other. So I think it's just that freedom in saying, okay, I'm just going to channel whatever version of me is coming through today and just honor that.
Yeah, and that's the most exciting part, I think, about spiritual awakening. Like, yes, the shadow work can be gruesome, can be very difficult at times, but it's like the synchronicities, the miracles, the connections, the priceless experiences that we get. It's like the little treasures that keep us going. It's like, oh, okay, let me do a bunch of shadow work. And then you get like this treasure, and you're like, wow, okay, it's like, it's not like we're measuring it, but it's like you see an affirmation, you experience the affirmation in this physical realm. And it's almost like those movies, those happy-go-lucky to the main character. They go through some trials, but then if they stay positive and all these things happen for them. And I think that is so not shared enough in our mundane life.
Yeah.
I love that you share how your family culture helped you build a strong foundation as well, because I can resonate with that. My mom brought me to Kuan Yin's temple every year at least once, especially on New Year to honor Kuan Yin. And I think that really helped cultivate our connection to spirit. So yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think culture is so important. I think we all have a culture wherever we come from. It's not just, the East has a culture, the West has a culture, and it's just about kind of exploring and like remembering and having like a really solid foundation. And of course, we can be drawn to other cultures as well. So it's all beautiful.
Yes, like with the internet, we have such blessing to learn from so many different spiritual teachers and cultures and lineages. So it's like everything have light and shadows. There's good side of the internet and not so good side of the internet. It's about how we use the tools and resources that are given to us for sure. And
Mm.
so why don't we share with people about like our journey? Like how did we go from, oh, I woke up, there's something beyond this matrix, this physical realm to, hmm, this is my soul legacy now. How am I going to even begin? Because a lot of people's question is they know there's something big they're part of, but then they don't know how to take the first step. Like, what was your journey like?
Yeah, so my journey, I feel that I went through a lot in my early age of not feeling accepted in many different ways. Like, for example, I had a different life with my grandmother until age 5 while my parents were building a better life in the UK. And then when I moved to the UK, it was just a complete shock. Like, I was like, oh my God, I was the alien, everything was alien. And I think for the next, so I felt not accepted, and it was very difficult for me to go through that process. But it also, I had to find that strength in something else, right? I had to find that strength in something beyond me because, coming to this country, my parents were working very hard. It was like a very different upbringing to, my friends and things like that. And I think many of us can relate, even if whatever, like I think a lot of us that have come onto this spiritual path have had our challenges. So at that time, I really had to dig deeper, even as a child. And that is when I, found my creativity, I found my spirituality. That was like the anchor. That's what really made me survive. But also the lesson in not being accepted and feeling like an alien or feeling like I was different really has served me in my life because it's almost like I went through, the real heaviest part of that experience in Earth when I was young. And of course, in my early 20s, I used to be afraid of doing that again. But going, doing that shadow work, I realized, okay, you've already been there. Like you've already gone through the worst of it. You've already survived. And I think I invite everybody out here who's listening that they probably have the thing that they're scared of. Maybe they've already experienced that already. So that kind of served me in a way of thinking, okay, like I'm going to take on this identity now of I'm going to do what I want in the world, however eccentric it is, however wild it is, however, even if I'm rejected or whatever it is, because it's something in my heart that is calling me to share a message or calling me to share a gift or calling me to share something. And I think people might not always know, like how you mentioned, they what they know they're here to do something, but they don't know what. But I believe that you don't really have to go out there to find your purpose. Like your purpose is already within you. Your purpose is something you've already lived. It's something you do very naturally. It's something that if you asked like 5 people in your life, what kind of quality do I bring to your life? They would be able to tell you. Those kind of things are already inherent. And I think a lot of us are already living our purpose without realizing. Maybe it's not made into a business or made into something, but just our energy signature, like we walk into a room and if we're, depending on how authentic we're being, depending on how much we've done the work to say, okay, I'm going to really embody what I've come here to embody as a soul, your energy signature is going to really radiate. And that is going to bring you opportunities. It's going to just align you with the right people. It's going to align you with the things that you feel drawn to. And I think this first step of going on that journey of purpose is like just giving yourself permission to be who you are and like go towards the things that you're drawn to, because that's what I did, because what I was doing at the time wasn't really accepted. But I kept taking those steps, it was like me, my higher self, my inner guidance. And of course, the shadows come up, the programming comes up, the rejection comes up, the failure comes up because you don't always succeed. And then you're like, what am I doing? Why don't I just take a normal path? But I remember that my body just would not let me. I would literally get sick if I started going against myself. So there was just no choice. And I think it's in taking each step. So you take one step and then your shadows come up and your darkness comes up and you learn how to heal that and you take another step. But I think what I hear a lot in this with when I work with people is they want to heal everything before they go out onto that journey. But it's actually going out on that journey that allows things to come up for you to truly heal that within yourself and your family and your community.
Yeah, it's so true. It's like what you resist persists, right? That famous quote. So it's like whatever you feel the most scared of it, that's the direction you should go to. And that's how you face all the shadow and work through it. And for me, in terms of the spiritual, the sole purpose of creation of it, like everything you said, I resonate with. And for me, also, I experience it in a way where because we're so multidimensional, you can shift your purpose. Like one day you are, let's say, a mom, and your purpose right now is to care for this little being. The next day you are in business, and then the next day you're with a different person. You make them smile, or you help them see the healer within themselves. So there's this multidimensional, very dynamic relationship with our purpose. And also your purpose, like you said, is created, right? I find that a lot of us, like you said, it's like, let me become perfect first. Let me take one more certification, then I'll be ready. But the truth is, we are ready now. Like who we are right now, right here, we are ready. We are enough. And it is that process of creating. Like you yourself, right, created businesses, created a lot of projects for your community, offerings for your community. And the same with me too. Like every time, this is like behind the scenes that people don't see. Every time a new course get launched, that whole month is like shadow work. You're like, oh my God. And it's not even about the course, it's about me. working to upgrade myself to show up even brighter as a leader. So it's like every time you launch an offering, the universe will challenge you to become an even more brighter version of you with more capacity, more confidence. Yeah. So how do some of the people who are maybe a few steps behind us or just starting their journey face their fears? Because it's very similar, very common for them to experience. Well, I have a lot of messages that I want to share, but jumping on the camera is so difficult. So we are very used to it now, but like for you, what has helped you to overcome that fear?
Yeah, that's such a great question. So initially, I was doing everything for myself to prove my worth, to prove that this calling is something that, I'm going to bring into the world. And everything was focused around me, which I'll admit. And I think if people feel like, they have that, I'm going to do this and I'm going to, prove to my parents or prove to my society, whatever it is, that it was the thing that really was bringing a lot of problems. Like it was bringing things to not go how I wanted. It wasn't really who I was in my soul. It was driven by my ego. It was driven by something that, was not coming from the purity of who I am. So the minute I shifted into, okay, and that was a journey. It wasn't like a mindset thing. Life took me on a journey. It took me through certain losses, through certain things where I had to say, why is nothing that I'm doing working? Or like, why am I building these businesses and I'm not getting fulfillment from them? Or why am I building these businesses and then feeling like I'm not aligned with them? Because it was all just driven by something like my ego. But then the minute I thought, okay, what can I do to serve? Because I'm in this life experience and I'm in control to a certain extent, but there's also other forces in this universe. And what can I actually do? And then I kind of went back to my darkest moments and I reflected on what helped me, get through those darkest moments. And it was always two things, music and spirituality. And I thought, okay, so I've had that gift given to me, and that is why I kind of survived. And I love music and I love spirituality. Now let me step into that service. And whatever happens is fine because at least I would have helped one person or two people or whatever. And even if I don't succeed, because, things have gone really well for me and things also haven't. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to just detach from that and I'm just going to allow things to unfold. And the minute I did that from my heart and not from a place of ego, like everything changed because I was also detached, I was also like, okay, well, been through the fire anyway, so what's the worst that can happen? And then yeah, things just really shifted and I felt like this is my purpose, like being with people, being in a community, sharing, co-creating, and this is part of New Earth. And I think when we make that shift and see what we can serve. It doesn't have to be in a big way. It can be in a small way, like how you said, Tiffany, like everyday things, like being a mother, just offering somebody a smile. It just really starts like that. And then you come into a place of love, like just seeing how what you do can impact somebody's life. And that gives you a new meaning to your life. It gives you a new meaning to your work. And then I feel like now I'm just led by something higher. Like I feel now that my duty is just to clear myself of all the density or however much density I can through shadow work and healing and just be a clear channel for, my guides, the spirit realm, just to work through me because a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now, I feel is orchestrated by something higher. I genuinely feel that I'm just the human vessel that is doing the things that I'm being guided to do. So I hope that answered your question, but it's really about coming back into your higher calling of what you are here to do. Firstly, for yourself, doing the work for yourself, like healing and shadow work, then doing it for your family, and then doing it for your community. And then that is going to align you in such a different way.
Mhm. Yeah, totally agree, like from the heart. And I remember for me, when I first started my video, I think part of it is shadow work of self-acceptance, because there's always this image of how, oh, if you're a spiritual healer, you have to be like this, or this is how you talk, this is how you dress. So I was trying so hard to be like, well, I don't know how to talk like those people. Like they don't smile, right? Some healers are like that. They have that more grounded, earthy type, but I'm not like that. So at first I really have to be like, do I have to match that image? But I'm like, because I'm matching that image, then I'm not myself. And maybe people want a different type of healers who do smile, who are very heart-centered and personable, right? Instead of, oh, they're so high up here and, you know. So then I just put myself out there and be like, hey guys, if you're feeling ever intimidated by master teachers who are like this, which is their innate state, but there's also master teachers who are like myself, who does smile a lot and comes from a very gentle energy. Doesn't mean it's weak. Sometimes people can mistaken gentle energy is weak, but it comes from a very much like Kuan Yin is my teacher, so I embody and learn from a lot of her qualities. And part of that is being gentle is not weak at all. So once I accepted that, I was able to show up and be like, this is how I am, and this is my authentic state. And when I look in the camera, another tip that helped me was to just tune into whoever is going to be tuning in and feeling, okay, this person was sitting next to me and we are friends. We're just having a heart-to-heart conversation. It's not like a quiz or being criticized. What would you say? So that really helped me, is self-acceptance and just looking in the camera, but with so much love. So I would take a few deep breaths and be like, okay, the other person on the other end, let's connect them with love. Now speak. So that's what helped me as well. So hope our tips help some of you who are starting your journey. And yeah, so, and Aiswarya, so now that we are wrapping up our conversation, please let us know, like, how do we connect with you? What do you have on your plate right now, on your offerings?
Yeah, thank you. And I love what you shared. That was so beautiful. Yeah, so basically I have this how we met Tiffany is because I invited Tiffany to be part of the Finally Feel Free event series 4. Now these are events that are run 3 times a year. And we have the topics on there is conscious wealth creation, stepping into your purpose, stepping into your divinity using your unique gifts. We have conscious relationships, how to calibrate to a higher vibrational form of love. We have health, how to really tap into the ancient processes of our bodies and come back to health. And also spirituality, how to really connect to the universe. And these are the 4 topics. And we have 45 speakers, and they are all giving their tips to freedom, to spiritual awakening, all of that kind of stuff. So you are invited to that, and I'm sure Tiffany will put the link down below. It's via my website, and you can come and you can check out all of these speakers, and it's for 15 days, and it's like a really special container. And other than that, I am just, yeah, I'm working on new music and, new spiritual music, all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of new projects have just come in. So it's like a really exciting time for me to just get to that next layer of expression. So
Thank you. Thank you, Aiswarya, for sharing space with us, sharing your story, experiences, and wise insights here at the temple. So everyone, I'll put the links below for those of you that are interested to join us in the summit. We'll hope to see you there, and wishing everyone a good rest of your day.
thank you, Tiffany.